Rev Max, would you please let them know that we're live and say hello? Hold on. I'll tell you. Yes, you're live. Yes.
Namaste. Welcome to Ticket Celebration of Spirit. Yes, we are on. We are live. It is Sunday, May 16th. Rev Mary is the lead, and our topic is God being our chauffeur. Thank you for joining us. You need a chair? How are you? Thank you. How about you? Good. Yes. How about the baby?
Wild, wonderful. Yeah. I think you need two chairs matching. How are you doing? Yeah.
That's just funny.
I love it.
I create the line. Yeah. They are. He's visiting. Oh, the bathroom? Yeah.
You like those? I got like Walmart.
I like them too. Hi, how are you?
Walmart special.
Hey, I love Walmart.
Me too.
Hello, darling. How are you? I love you. I haven't seen you in forever. You need a chair? They're right inside the door. Nobody's asking.
All right, let's get started.
Let's get chairs.
Here's a chair. Go meet this
Oh,
chair.
Max is with Dad. That's what it is.
Okay.
Up there.
All right. So,
Thank you.
very nice. So welcome everybody. Namaste. We have a little bit of a different hookup today because we ran into a little technical difficulties with the live streaming. So that's why it looks a little different. Maybe it's got this wide angle. But anyway, we're going to start and we're going to wait for Reverend Max to come out. And then I'll explain our call to worship. So tonight, the theme is God is our chauffeur, our driver. Take the wheel, God. And so we came across this beautiful prayer called the St. Ignatius Prayer of Surrender. And the call to worship is going to be based on that. Some of you may know this song already. It may be familiar to you. But what we're going to ask you to do for the call to worship is to stand up and to keep your eyes on Reverend Mary and Reverend Max, who are going to show you the motions that we want you to do while the song is being sung. Take, Lord, receive all my liberty, my memory, understanding, my entire will. Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me. Your love and your grace are enough for me. Take, Lord, receive all I have and possess. You have given all to me. Now I return it. Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me. Your love and your grace are enough for me. Take, Lord, receive, all is yours now. Dispose of it only according to your will. Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me. Your love and your grace are enough for me.
Our call to worship reminds us why we are here tonight, to celebrate, explore, and develop an interfaith experience and join together in sacred celebration of spirit. We welcome you to the Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution, where our vision is attuned to a higher awareness of oneness. This house of worship is an interfaith and interfaith sacred space for all people to heal, grow, learn, and develop a spiritual consciousness that celebrates the manifestation of the divine in all things.
And this spiritual community is one of inner faith exploration, embracing all faiths that are affirming and positive, adhering to the highest spiritual goal of be good and do good. The major tenet of this spiritual community is that there is one infinite, all-powerful, all-knowing, ever-present divine source that moves in and around all that is seen and unseen.
And we affirm this divine source is called by many names and is beyond name and form. And we recognize that while there are many paths that lead to enlightenment, each person is on their own personal journey toward the awareness and understanding of the divine.
We believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we are spiritually evolving in this lifetime. We declare that enlightenment is possible in the here and now, and that this enlightenment can offer us joy everlasting. We know that living in the present moment and recognizing the true I am, which is our divine nature, is where enlightenment lies.
And we hope that you experience darshan, which is a Sanskrit term for visit with the divine, as a result of this sacred celebration of spirit that was designed for you tonight. We are the guardians of the Darshan Center, and we are so pleased to have you here in Satsanga with us. Please join us now as we celebrate with song.
And you know this one, this is a kirtan number. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Creator Great Spirit, you who are as expansive as the cosmos and yet as personal as our heartbeat, we're here gathered in front of the Darshan Center, your community, God, your family, this spiritual community that is seeking nourishment and medicine. Thank you for giving us that medicine. Thank you for giving us the encouragement and nourishment that we need on a daily basis. Thank you for that, God. And a special intention and prayer for Sheikh Shafayat Muhammad's mother, who has passed away. May Allah welcome her and her soul into his kingdom. And for all those who are not with us in this physical embodiment, we pray for them and for their souls as well. Aho, Amen, Ashe, blessed be. So it is.
Reading from Hayagriva on backtogodhead.com. Krishna, the chariot driver, holds the reins of his chariot, the creation. He is no inexperienced charioteer. He is very adept at driving the universe through space. As the absolute controller, he is able to drive all chariots along even through the roughest roads. And for the man who recognizes and accepts his mastery, he is in perfect guide and guru.
Have you ever heard Vishnu has come? It says in his word to cleanse everyone. At-one-ment is made and moksha is born, and we can find life in God evermore. God's promise we claim as we wait. No, this illusion, it's not our fate. World filled with heartache and pain, it's not the eternal truth. Salvation has come to the world, Krishna and Buddha for the world, Jesus the one for the world, Vishnu is he. The ancients of old speak much of enlightenment, that death is unreal and light is eternal. The mystics did say to look deep within and open the door that leads to the light. God's promise we claim as we wait. No, this illusion, it's not our fate. A world filled with heartache and pain, it's not the eternal truth. Salvation has come to the world, Krishna and Buddha to the world, Jesus the one for the world, Vishnu is he.
A reading continued. All entities are being driven by the Supreme Lord on the chariot ride through eternity. Whether or not the entities enjoy the ride depends on their knowledge and acceptance of faith in and love for the driver. The chariot ride with Krishna as the driver is not a wistful speculation, but an exciting promise. Krishna, eternally blissful, is not static nor stationary, but dynamic and energetic, and he drives his creation at a rapid pace. He is indeed having fun.
So those of you who came here tonight expecting to see Rev G talk might be a little disappointed because you got me, because she wanted to switch. I'm sorry. Y'all know I like to have fun, right? And Krishna was the Lord of fun. He was the Lord of compassion and love and fun. I want to tell you the last couple of months have not been fun for me. But my friend Jimmy Chaney turned me on to Toby Mac. And Toby Mac, who I had never heard of before because I don't listen to country music, is amazing. And Rev Max is going to do a song at the end for us that I am just so excited to hear. And that song is called Backseat Driver. And I realize that I am a backseat driver. I am. I've never been great at riding in cars. Never, ever. When my mother used to take me on vacations when I was a little girl, she'd either try to keep me really busy, you know, because I was bouncing off the walls. I was a little what we'd call Rajasic, which means constantly moving, but with not really a whole lot of purpose. Or she'd try to get me to go to sleep in the back of the car, and she was very relieved when that would happen. And then I was Tamasic, which is no motivation, kind of dull. What we want to be is Sattvic. What we want to be is Sattvic. And Sattvic is participating in life for the right reasons. Cars. Cars are important to me. My mother loved to drive. She would take me all over the place in cars. And so you've heard me talk about cars before, and you know that my philosophy on this life is that we decide what we're going to do on the other side. We come here, we pick a car, we get in, we drive that car until the wheels fall off, Some of us drive fast and some of us drive slow. Some of us have picked Maseratis and some of us have hybrids. I'm a hybrid. Some of us have vans and some of us have trucks. But we go through life and we drive this thing until the wheels fall off, like I said, and then we get out. And when we go to the other side, we decide what kind of car we're going to get in next time we come back, because we're all here to learn a certain lesson. Now, I want to tell you that I learned to drive on the back hills of Connecticut. And there's lots of curves and there's some hills. And I drove like a maniac. And once I learned to drive, I always wanted to drive. I wanted to be driving all the time. I liked being in control. I didn't want to turn over control. What we know, especially if we're in recovery, is we know that first, second, and third step is us recognizing we are not in control. We're not in control. And then we decide that there's a power greater than ourselves, and this power that's greater than ourselves can and will restore us to sanity if we allow it to. And then we make the final decision of the third step, and we turn our lives and our wills over to the care of God as we understand Him. Now, the problem with that is most of us can do that, but then somewhere along the ride, we decide God's not taking the right road. We think there's a faster road. We think that there's a detour in front of us, and we know how to get around it better than God, and we take our will back. We take it back, and we say, I know better than you. I'm just going to take it for a little while, and when it gets really bad again, I'll give it back to you. You know, what's that song, Max? Jesus, take the wheel, right? Okay, so when we get in deep trouble, we ask Jesus to take the wheel. So I, for years, never liked sitting in the back of a car. I never liked given control over. I wanted to be the one who was always in control, but that didn't lead me in really great places. I want to tell you, you know, we say that you're alone in your own mind. It's not such a great neighborhood, right? We get in and we just go where we want to go, but we really need to like look for a light, look for something that guides us. When I was really little and I was sitting in the back seat of the car and I wasn't sleeping and I wasn't bouncing off the walls, I only liked to ride at night because there was a guiding light, and that light was the moon. And I truly, truly felt like the moon loved me. And I would say to my mother, oh, you know what, Mom, the moon loves me. And she'd say, how do you know? And I'd say, because it follows me everywhere. That's kind of like the guiding light we have from Krishna. Krishna is there all the time, and he follows each one of us, right? He takes each one of us on the ride. It's the guide, it's the guru, it's the teacher. Okay, that would be things. When we try to take this creation back from God and we don't let Krishna light our way, we don't let Krishna guide us, we are becoming a backseat driver, and we are telling God how we want it done. But the problem with backseat driving is you don't have the controls. I remember, again, when my mother was teaching me to drive, she used to take me to the cemetery. Yep. She took me to the cemetery, and her thought was there was no one there I could run over and kill. And she would say, and if you kill us, we don't have far to go. And so we would drive in the cemetery. And I love driving, so I didn't really care if we were in the cemetery or not. But when she was teaching me to drive, I thought I knew better than her. But she would sit in the passenger side, and if I went too fast, you could hear her stamp on the imaginary brake to try to get me to slow down. Or she'd grab the, what is it called?
The oh shit handle?
Yeah, she'd grab that and go, oh my goodness. The wind is not cooperating tonight. So, thank you. One of the things that I want to tell you is that when we trust Krishna, and Krishna was in the Bhagavad Gita, by the way. There's a lot of stories about Krishna, and I was doing some research today to learn a little bit about Krishna, and Krishna was his life was really parallel to Jesus in many, many ways. Krishna's uncle was told that someone in Krishna's family was going to kill him, and so he tried to kill all the children. But they snuck Krishna out. They sent him away to live with the goat herders, and that's where we get Gopal, the herder of the goats, Gopal. And so he was hidden for a while. No one knew his true identity to keep him safe. Years later, after the Bhagavad Gita, he goes back to the family. He ousts the guy who killed all the rest of his family, and then he is killed by an arrow, and then he ascends, which is what we're going to talk about next week, right? So it's really parallel. So what I thought was really interesting with this is that we have these themes related to having sometimes to hide who we are, and we really don't need to do that, because Krishna doesn't tell us to do that. Krishna tells us to be who we are, to love who we are, to let him guide us, and to just be happy and to go along with the ride. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is with Arjuna. Arjuna is a warrior, and Arjuna has to choose. He can choose all the weapons and all the soldiers, or he can choose Krishna, and he chooses Krishna. And he ends up winning that battle, but he's really scared because when he gets to the battle, he sees that it's all his family and friends that he has to fight against, to win against. And he doesn't really want to do it. And he says, you know, Krishna, I'm going to submit myself to you, but why do I need to do this? And Krishna says, because you have to do your duty. And sometimes that's the way in our own lives too. Sometimes our family and our friends tell us a different way, or they're not exactly on our side. We have to turn, again, back to the moon, back to Krishna, and follow the light, follow the drive, sit in the car and relax. One of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about this riding along, right, is Arjuna really trusts Krishna. He puts all his faith in Krishna. He does whatever Krishna wants him to do. And if we would just do this, our life would be so much easier. Because, you know, Source knows every highway. Source knows every bump in the road. Source knows every detour. Source knows the quickest route, the safest route. It's just such a good way to go. I was also thinking about limousines. I've never been in a limousine. Reverend Max and I were talking about this. I've never been in a limousine. I never went to prom. I never went in a limousine. So I don't know, but people in a limousine never want to drive. Have you noticed that? Any other place, people are like telling people how to drive, right? You even tell the cabbie where to go, right? You say, oh, no, no, don't go. That's the long way. Go this way. But in the back of a limousine, you are just kicking back. You're bouncing with the music. You're having a great time, and you do not care. You don't care how long the ride goes. You don't care where the guy's taking you. You're looking out the window. You're talking with your friends. You're having a great time. Well, you know, one of the things they talk about this life, this is the Leela of Krishna, this world, this Maya, which is not real, is the Leela of Krishna. And so a lot of times the Hindus talk about that this is not reality. Real reality is our soul. It's the real God within us. So all this stuff, all this matter, doesn't matter. And so if we could kick back in the limo and let the matter go away, we could enjoy the ride. We could enjoy the play. One of the things that I looked up, and I'm trying to see if I can find it now, of course, is anyway, it was a GPS. A GPS is a global, what was it now? I mixed it. A global operating position. And so with global operating positions, God knows where we are at all times. We don't know half the time where we are, but God knows where we are. And it has to do with timing, and it has to do with where we are and having a fixed spot. And our fixed spot needs to be in the back seat. We need to relax. We need to love God. One of the things that Reverend Max read about was that we need to surrender to the perfect guide and guru. Well, a guide is somebody who takes you someplace beautiful, and a guru is somebody who teaches you lessons. And if we could look at the lessons as beauty, if we could look at the beauty and the pain of the lessons, this wouldn't be such a hard ride. we'd recognize that we're going to get to exactly where we're supposed to get to, and everything was going to be okay. I really want to stop being a backseat driver. I want to totally trust. I want to relax and watch the scenery go by. I think it would be so much more beautiful if we could do that. So with that, I'm sorry, my notes are blowing everywhere and I'm like a little lost at this minute, but we know that if we just trust God, if we just use the tools we're given, if we use our mantras, if we learn to love God, if we learn to use scripture, if we learn to do for other people, everything's going to go smoothly along this scenic route. I want to learn to do that. I hope you all want to learn to do that. And with that, I'm going to turn it to the clergy.
I love this topic. I love you said earlier about this body is our vehicle. We pick our vehicle. My father can tell you I'm very hard on vehicles. He doesn't trust me with a lot of vehicles. Exactly. It's a family trait. And I tend to do the same thing to myself. You know, I'm very hard on myself. I'm very hard on this body. So like, I love the idea that this thing, this chariot, if you will, that we are being driven through our road of existence needs to be tended and cared for. I am a complete backseat driver. I always think I know better than the person who's driving. Oh, no, go this way. Oh, no, go that way. And it pisses people off. They get very irritated. But recovery has definitely taught me the amazing power behind giving up control. And it's so funny, you think control is power, but what's actually powerful is giving up that control and being that person that just sits and enjoys the ride. And then that's hard too, even just enjoying the ride. You know, like there's one thing to be sitting there and be like, okay, let's go. But then it's another thing to be like, the whole time. And I have an issue with that too. I can say, yes, I give up. You take the reign. But when it's something that I'm passionate about, when it's something that I really care about, it's so difficult to enjoy the ride. And I love that you brought up Leela, because that's really what it is. Leela is enjoying the ride. Leela is enjoying everything that you see, even the trouble that comes your way, even the technical issues that we face before service is Leela. Yeah. So I love this topic. I know the beauty of it. I know the struggle of it. And I think it's just something that we all practice every day. Some days we may not be so well. Some days we do really good at it. But I think the main point is that we are trying to be driven. We are trying to just sit there and enjoy the ride. That's the beauty of it. That's where change happens. When you say, let go of the wheel, I don't care how I get there. Because I know that in my life, I planned to go places. But life took me in a completely different direction. I would never have asked to be at this destination. And I know every time I tried working to get to the destination I wanted to go, we got into those bad neighborhoods. So there is so much to be said for really just allowing life to just happen around you. Trust and know that you're always going to be okay. And that God, that Krishna, that the universe has the perfect destination for you. And not to forget that. It's not always in line with where you think you want to go. And that's the exciting thing. So thank you.
Thank you for the message, Rev Mary, and thank you so much for allowing me to switch with you so that I can have next week. And I often talk about this in recovery terms, that You know, when you get on a plane, how many of you get on a plane? Ever? Probably nobody that's not been on a plane at some point. And get on this plane and you usually pass the cockpit and, you know, you pass the pilot and the co-pilot and they're doing their thing with their instrumentation and, you know, anything that we know about technology. You just now said before service, we had a major technical issue. We almost weren't going to be able to live stream tonight. But technical issues happen. And well, what about technical issues happening in the cockpit? Right? I mean, but we get on and we don't think about it. And, you know, we might be a little nervous about traveling, but we don't go up to the pilot and say, excuse me, but can I see your credentials? What flying school did you go to? Let's give you a breathalyzer and see if you're in tox before, we take off. Well, we don't do that. We just trust. We get on the plane and we sit down and we take suggestions like from the flight attendant. And then we hit turbulence and we start to freak a little bit. We get a little panicked, and it's just like, but I don't think that any of us walk up to the cockpit and start banging on the door and saying, listen, could you go around this weather? Or what about when you're supposed to land, but there's fog and the air traffic controllers don't allow the plane to be landing, and you're like, wait a second, this was supposed to land at 6 o'clock and it's 6:30 and we're still circling this airport. None of us go up to the cockpit and start knocking on the door and saying to the pilot, I want you to land this plane and land it now. We trust. How much more should I be trusting my higher power? If I have no problem trusting a human being who's flying a gigantic piece of machinery that I don't understand how it stays up, I really don't. I don't get it. Aerodynamics, something or other. I don't know. Physics, something. I don't know. But if I trust this pilot, why would I not trust my higher power? And I do in my heart. I do. Like I always say, what do we believe? I do. I really believe. Why is it so hard then to give you the wheel? When we joked about, take my wheel and my life and guide me in my recovery. Take my wheel. But it's a decision that we make. And so we fake it till we make it. I believe that. And I personally am faking it right now. I am. Worried about Sister Chris. Sister Chris is not here. She's not well. I ask you to please pray for her. Keep her in your prayers. I believe that there's going to be a miracle. But I also am not confused, and I know that, we're not in the outcomes business. We're not in the results business. That's God's business, not mine. It's not what I want. But Jesus said the same thing in the Garden of Gethsemane. If this could pass, let it pass. But not my will, yours be done.
Okay, so we always like to do a little ritual, and I always like to give you something to take with you. So for this ritual, Reverend Max is going to come around. When I'd go traveling with my mom, they'd have those grab bag things where you didn't know what you were getting. And so you got a grab bag, you don't know what you're getting. And then Reverend Max is going to come around after everybody gets one, and you're going to open the bag. And there's a little message in there. On one side, it's going to tell you what you got, and on the other side, it's going to give you the message, and would like you just to read it and see what message Spirit had for you tonight based on what He gave me to give you.
Rev Mary, can you explain what they're supposed to say again?
Yeah, so you're gonna have something in your little bag. It's gonna be some kind of a car or something. And that there's gonna be a little message in it. One side tells you what the car was, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what those cars were, some of them, because some of them were some I'd never seen before. And then there's a message on the other side. So if you'll read us what your car is and then what your little message is.
I have an electric bus, and you don't waste any energy when you are riding with God, Goddess.
I have the cutest little car. It's gold and it's a Dodge Challenger. And it says you always have enough power with God, Goddess, behind the wheel in your muscle car.
Sorry. I have a jungle truck, and my message is take a wild ride with the God Goddesses.
I have a fire truck, and my message is the world may seem to be on fire, but you are safe with God behind the wheel.
I got a Mini Cooper Countryman, and the message says you can always rely on God Goddess no matter where you go.
And we have a Jaguar F-Type coupe, and it says you always ride in style when God or Goddess drives.
I got an off-road vehicle. You don't have to worry about going off the path when you let God, Goddess drive.
I got a monster truck. No terrain is too difficult when God Goddess is driving.
I got this Roto-Rooter truck, plumbing, heating, cooling, service van, and it says no need to worry, God Goddesses take care of all your needs 24/7.
Have a police cruiser. You're never going to be unsafe with God or Goddess in charge.
I have a marine life rescue vehicle. God can rescue all our relations in any situation if we just trust.
I did. Let's see what I got.
Jungle Renegade Liberation Vehicle. Wow. Giving God or Goddess your liberty keeps you free. Love it.
Oh, wow. I got a gigantic bus. Thank you, Daddy-O. I got a big double-decker bus. Relax and enjoy the trip. God Goddess has the tour under control. All right.
So, let me grab one. Oh, I got an Audi R8 sports car. It says you can go as fast as you want when you give control to God or Goddess.
Spiritual community, we are so grateful to have an amazing family in you. We are so grateful for your endless support, for your endless love, for your endless contributions. Everything that you give helps sustain us, helps keep our doors open, helps keep the lights on, helps keeps us going. And we're so grateful for you. We are so grateful that we get to spend this time together with you each week, and we know how lucky we are because it's because of you guys that we can do that. I'm going to come around with the basket. We ask you to just give what you can. If you don't have anything numerical on you, that is totally fine. We ask for your love and your light. Please put your hands over the basket, and you can also donate on Cash App at dollar number sign at Darshon Center 480. That was better, right? All right, we also on PayPal as well, and I think that's it.
Go ahead.
Venmo at hashtag Darshon Center 480.
840. Darshon Center 840. Why 840? Because we're at 840 East Oakland Park Boulevard. All right, this is a kirtan number. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. And I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. What I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Because the one I love lives inside of you. I lean as close to you as I can. Om Namo Bhagavate Namo Bhagavate. Announcements is me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a couple of announcements. Announcement number one. Isn't it nice out today? Isn't that nice? But you know what? It's going to be even nicer inside. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be so super nice inside on June 6th. June 6th, inside the sanctuary. And the guardians, the clergy had a very productive meeting on Saturday, yesterday, to discuss the things that we'll be doing inside. We are going to be limited, but I think that if we still have the same amount of people, we'll be fine, fine, fine. So we're going to be socially distancing as much as we can. Many of you are vaccinated. We're not going to ask you if you are or if you aren't, but we're fully vaccinated. And the CDC has just now come out with something that says that if you're fully vaccinated, you can be maskless indoors or outdoors. So it's up to you. It's your decision. It's your discretion. And we're going to really operate under these three principles of trust, respect, and individual responsibility. And that means that it's up to you to decide what you want to do and how you want to mask or not mask, vaccine, not vaccine, whatever you want to do. But we do want to be aware of each other. And we do want to be in that karma yogi mentality of serving others. So if we use the bathroom, we're going to ask you to kind of spray some stuff down that you touch, whatever it is you touch. So this way, just in case, because some of us are vulnerable. Some of us are fragile in our health. So we want to be careful with that, right? So that's the biggest news. Second big thing is that May 29th, I believe it is Kirtan. It's going to be out here. It'll be our last Kirtan outside. I don't know if we're going to have an inside one or not. The clergy talked about this. We might do an indoor Kirtan. That would be in June, at the end of June. And we have to talk about that. It would be on Eventbrite. You have to purchase your registration beforehand, your love donation. You make your love donation, you get a ticket, and we're going to do it by the numbers. So we'll have to cut off at like, what did we say, 12? Something like that. So, and we also talked about making it available on live stream, but the way it would be available is you would pay the Eventbrite ticket, and then you get the password for the Zoom, so you could see it at home. And I'm losing my mind, so I don't know. Is there anything else?
Yeah.
Yes, and then starting June 10th, we're going to start a Reiki circle here every Thursday at 7 o'clock. So it's the first Thursday in June, and we'll be meeting inside. A love donation, and there'll be at least two practitioners here. So we figured we got some other events coming up. So please join us for some amazing healing.
Great. Thank you. And that's it. That's all I got.
Let us pray. Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, how wonderful life is when we are not in control. How wonderful life is when we turn our will and our life over to you. How wonderful this experience of living gets to be when we have complete trust, complete love in you. And we do. And we thank you for this beautiful existence that you've given us. We thank you for all the joy that you brought our way. We thank you for all the hardships and the lessons that you brought our way. We thank you that we don't have to be the ones to be in control. Keep us safe, keep us healthy, keep our loved ones close to your bosom, and keep us together again next week. Together we pray, Amen, Amin, Aho, Ashe, blessed be, and so it is. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Okay, so we got
A closing song for you.
What's happening?
You know, just having trouble connecting.
All right. Well, another idea. Do you need the, yes, do you need the phone?
What?
Tell me to use it and I'll do this on my microphone. Do you want not want to do that?
No, because I.
Okay.
So this is one of those bumps and detours we were talking about a few minutes ago. But it's okay.
Back to my old ways. I've got out of control days. Just before I pray, oh, I'm heading up the doorway. But I want your way, our way. From dirt roads to highways, showing me this beautiful view from this backseat, where there's lots of room where I never would have seen it if I wasn't rolling with you. I don't want to be a backseat driver. I don't want to navigate. Won't you take it over? I don't want to ever doubt you. I'm lost without you, Lord. I don't want to be a backseat driver. You got the wheel, take me anywhere you go. My heart is yours, no matter where we roll. Been backseat my whole life. Now I'm turning 16 and it's time to drive. Buckle up. Max behind the wheel, got my eye pop up and like boom, boom, boom. GPS locked and the map is set. Thought I had it all right till the road went left. Spinning out of control in this coupe de ville. Now I'm sitting shotgun, Jesus, take the wheel. I don't want to be no backseat driver. I don't want to navigate. Won't you take it over? I don't want to ever doubt you. I'm lost without you, Lord. I don't want to be no backseat driver. A backseat driver. Backseat driver. I'm putting my trust in you. I'm putting my trust in you. It's a little bit overdue, but I'm putting my trust in you. I'm putting my trust in you. I'm putting my trust in you. It's a little bit overdue, but I'm putting my trust in you. Putting my trust in you. Putting my trust in you. It's a little bit overdue, but I'm putting my trust in you. It's a whole new journey and a brand new path. I'ma fix my eyes so I won't look back. Tame this beating heart in my chest, cause everything I want is to jump ahead. Light it up, up, don't let it fade. Light it up, up, show me the way. Light it up, Lord, just like you do. No second guessing, I'ma move with you. I don't wanna be no backseat driver. I don't wanna navigate. Won't you take it over? I don't want to ever doubt you. I'm lost without you, Lord. I don't want to be no backseat driver. I don't want to be no backseat driver. I don't want to navigate. Won't you take it over? I don't want to ever doubt you, Lord. I don't want to be no backseat driver. The rapping styles of Rev Max. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We love you.